sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We continue our look at Section 5 sports with a flashback to our first season on 13 Wham TV in October 2012. Here's Bill Pucko and Brian Mazurowski.
Which brings us to football in Spencerport, where they're winning and doing things differently. Brian Mazurowski is here with that story.
All right, who's this? Okay, who's the motion man? All right, good. Look, we got a motion.
To the average football fan, this may look like a bunch of scribbles, but it may very well be the future of football in the area.
What exactly the double wing offense is?
The double wing offense is about power and misdirection. So we try and bring more people to the point of attack by pulling backside linemen. We try to use double teams and angle blocks as well as trap blocks and kickouts. So rather than ask a guy to one-on-one block a guy that's bigger than him, we'll either double team him or we'll use a tactic like down blocking him or pulling and trapping him to get yards rather than try and just knock him off the line with pure strength.
What about this offense that you run confuses defenses?
It's a lot of different fakes because we have different motions going different ways. And we always have guards pulling, and they don't always lead to the play. Same thing with the fullback; he doesn't always lead to the play. And it's more tight. There's no splits for linemen. It's not spread out, so it's all kind of jumbled up.
All right. And I'm not just talking about giving a poor effort. I'm talking about going extra effort. It should be that way every day.
It sounds complicated, and Spencerport coach John Dowd realizes that it's not your father's football.
Is it hard at first to get kids to buy in to playing something different than I'm sure they've seen and learned before?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to be a little bit of a salesman. It's not what the kids or their parents or the community has seen in terms of the NFL or anything like that. It's vastly different. And you got to win a few games, and then people start to see what it does for you. And I think, our kids have bought in at this point.
It would be hard for any fan of the Rangers to not buy in now. Spencerport is having its best season in over a decade, but it took learning a brand new offense to get to this point.
Offense is different because a lot of the pass plays, it's just me rolling out, hitting receivers on the run stuff. There's no hitches or shotgun snaps or anything like that.
I don't think it was difficult. It was a lot of reps, all the plays. If you know one rule for a play, a whole bunch of different plays are similar. So it was more of an easier offense to learn. You just memorize the rules, not really plays.
The Rangers hope to avoid future learning curves happening on the varsity level by installing the double wing on all teams, even the middle school aged junior Rangers, who are having success already.
We're running it at the modified level and the freshman level, the JV level, the varsity level. Everybody's running the exact same playbook, and some of the youth teams around here run it too.
Changing the way a game is played isn't always a deliberate action. Dowd considers himself lucky to have stumbled upon something different in such a conservative sport.
I think you do what you know, and I was, for me, I feel lucky, but I was lucky enough to, start coaching with a guy who's running the double wing and get it from him and just kind of go from there. I think everybody runs what they know and what they feel comfortable with, and you come up in a different system. Maybe you played in it, maybe you coached for somebody else in it, and you learn that system, and then you bring it with you and add your own twist.
Whether or not you like it, the Rangers' results speak for themselves. This year, Spencerport has broken their school record for points scored in a game twice and are on their way to the playoffs for the first time since 2001. The Rangers show everyone that the goal is the same, no matter how you choose to get there.
How important are playoffs to your team?
Very important. We've been putting in hard work since the summer, hitting the weight room up every single day, staying after practice hours, working on plays that we need to get better at. And since we haven't been in the playoffs in forever, it's a really cool experience, and we're really excited. We want to do good.
Brought down to no. Brian joins us now. Brian, it begs to be asked, how come there aren't more teams in Monroe County running this offense?
Bill, I think it's fear. We heard in that piece that you usually run what you know, and this is kind of the unknown. And football has stayed really stagnant for a long period of time, and hopefully more coaches like this can get the ball rolling to the future.
Well, if they win with it big time, certainly there's a better chance that will change.
The Rangers and that double wing won their first sectional playoff game in 2019. Well, coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the High School Notebook. We've got that and more when the High School Sports Beat continues. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the High School Sports Beat. I am Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, and that means it is time for Matt Trabold. And Matt, we're talking about soccer playoffs, and we're talking about a team that pulled off a major upset.
Yeah, a lot of exciting upsets. Plenty of teams involved in definitely Class A. That's a big upset-minded class going on in these sectionals here in 2020. Class A in girls and boys soccer around here is always packed with depth. And that showed again this year with an upset-filled quarterfinal round. First in girls soccer, there was Churchville over undefeated HFL. 7-seed Mercy beat undefeated Mendon, so a couple big undefeated teams going down there. Shows the depth going on in the class. The Monarchs went from down 2-1 in the second half to winning 3-2 on a goal by Richmond lacrosse commit, and also a big-time basketball player around here in Caroline Murphy. In boys soccer, big surprise was defending champ and state representative Athena falling to Caleb Bailey in Churchville. That's an also big name going on. We've talked about him so many times on the show. Also, 9-seed Arcadia kind of keeping it in grease there, this time on the winning side. So the Titans, behind the always major goalie play of Gabe Taylor, they beat another undefeated team, HFL, there on the boys' side of things in a penalty kick shootout. Such an exciting quarterfinal weekend. You really like seeing that, not just because of good wins for those teams that, hey, the seed, you don't always know if that's going to be an upset coming out of it, but it just really shows the talent kind of across the area. Pittsford Sutherland boys soccer propelling to yet another sectional title game. They won Class A2 a year ago, and the A classes are back as one this time around. This playoff run in particular is a testament to the program's coaching, personnel, and depth, because they have been without two supreme talents in the postseason. Beating Spencerport in the semis without them is a feat. The first of the two guys out is Dylan Kladstrup, who has been one of the top couple players in Section 5 for a few years now. He scored 4 goals in a game versus rival Mendon at the end of the regular season. The second is one of Sutherland's not one, but 2 of the top center backs in the section this season in David Adelecki Adedoyan. Along with Kladstrup, another double-digit goal scorer for the Knights this year is Will Field. The ball just moves differently on his foot when he is dribbling and speeding around. Another guy that did some scoring in the sectionals is Jack Leahy. He scored the game winner late in the quarterfinals versus Mendon in bonkers fashion. One of the wings up top, Eric Wang, is impressive at body control and balance through defenders on the flank, which allows him to keep possessions alive for his team, even if there's contact, and then supply balls in the middle where guys like Cladstrip, guys like Leahy are there to tap it in, guys like Will Field as well. Another notable defender, Ian Bowen, he is more of a wing guy when it comes to that back line. He is one of the biggest throw-ins around. On earlier weeks of the show, we talked about 2 of the 3 Class A girls soccer teams in the section that ended the regular season undefeated. Spencerport, Mendon, a third one is Honeoye Falls, Lima. The leading scorer and clearly one of the very best talents this season in Section 5 play is sophomore Maria Karapides. She is just good at everything on the pitch. Headers, aggressiveness and powering through the ball, dribbling, striking the ball on shots. Senior captain Mari Spitz, who has also been a big names for years as a catcher on the softball team there. She is one of the best keepers in Section 5, never rattled. One reason Shayla Torpy is such a good center back is her wheels. If the opposing team happens to, for a moment, be free in the HFL defensive third, she in a flash swoops in and speeds in to snuff out that chance for the opposing side. They fell in sectionals to Churchville, but as we talked about on the show early this season, those Saints were always going to be a team better than what their seed said come playoff time. So a couple very impressive teams there. Good season for the Cougs, even though they're not able to get to the very end and win it all.
All right, Matt, great stuff as always. Next time I talk to you, we'll be talking about who won the championships in boys and girls soccer. Great stuff as always. Thanks for coming on board, Matt. We're back with more of the High School Sports Beat right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara, and later we look back at one of the best volleyball teams in Section 5 history. We'll have their story when the High School Sports Beat continues.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Kyle O'Gara. Making the grade this week is Bishop Kearney senior Matthew Tierney. Matt is a captain of the soccer team for the Kings and is a 4-year starter. In 2017, Matt helped lead the Kings to their first sectional title since 2010. And in 2019, Matt made the second team All-League for private parochial. In addition to his success on the field, Matt is also part of the National Honor Society with a 100% average and will graduate with credit from 10 AP courses. Outside of the classroom, Matt is part of the theater club and the house leadership program at Bishop Kearney. After graduation, Matt plans to continue playing soccer and double major in business and biochemistry. This week, Matthew Tierney is making the grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into mtg@rocksportsnow.com. Now here's Dave with the Section 5 Spotlight.
Thanks, Kyle. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in our Section 5 Spotlight. Congrats to the East Rochester girls tennis team for winning the Class C1 title, defeating Mindhurst in the finals. On the individual side, the Bombers duo of Sarah Stone and Zoe Zutz won the Section 5 doubles championship. In cross country, the Honeoye boys and girls both won the Finger Lakes West Division titles, with the boys making it 9 years in a row. And in girls diving, the Class B title goes to Ren Watt from Brighton. The Barons also had Cecilia Honeck finish second, and Tori Katalik place fifth. Up next, the Stars of Sutherland Volleyball. We'll talk about them when the High School Sports Beat continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We flash back now to September of 2013 and the story of an outstanding girls volleyball squad. Here's Bill Pucko.
Which brings us to Pittsford Sutherland, and perhaps a team for the ages, the Hollywood Knights. Aquinas football, Bishop Kearney boys basketball, Pittsford Sutherland girls volleyball, rock stars in the Section 5 sports universe, the Hollywood Knights. Last year, Sutherland had no seniors on the roster and were still good enough to play in the state finals.
We were young last year, and this year I think we've become a lot more mature as individuals and as a team, and I think that can take us a lot farther this year.
Of course, without any seniors last year, they graduated no one. Everybody is back. Coach Matt Glover once coached the Penfield boys volleyball team to 108 straight wins. Within its own realm, he thinks this team is better.
We're currently nationally ranked. We're 60th in the country according to prepvolleyball.com. Who knows? There's a lot of good local teams. Webster's very good. Penfield's very good. Mercy. But we got a bunch of kids here that really work hard and they want to compete. And they want to be around us.
The Knights are taking full advantage of their situation, accepting an invitation to play at a tournament in Chicago featuring some of the top teams in the country.
I love it. I love the tournaments for going to Chicago. I can't wait. The number 1 and 2 teams in the country are going to be there, and I know we might not be at their level necessarily, but I can't wait to just compete with them and play against the best people in the country.
Louisa Shermer is one of the standout players in the nation. Has traveled the world as a member of the junior national team. She'll attend The Ohio State University next year on scholarship. More often than not, libero Aaliyah Bolin gets the ball to her. Bolin is a freshman, but already a third-year varsity player and was all-state as an 8th grader to boot. They work well together.
I think Louisa really challenges me. She pushes me as hard as I can in practice, and all we can do is make each other better. She'll hit hard at me and I'll dig her, and I think it's really great to play with someone at that caliber, and it's only going to make both of us better.
Meanwhile, there's a 6'1 junior with a 10'4" touch who thrives in the shadow of the other two. She is Santita Abangwis, whose parents are from Cameroon, an urban suburban student who's been busing into Pittsford from the city since she was in the 1st grade. She's a latecomer to the game.
7th grade year, I did basketball, but Glover was the assistant coach, so he said I should do volleyball and try it out. Why not? So 8th grade year I started, and I've been playing ever since.
Do you like it? I mean, when you compare it with basketball in terms of what you're capable of doing?
Personally, I think I'm better at volleyball, and I'm glad that I started it because it's opening new doors for me.
Santita is what it's really all about.
Our motto is that volleyball's important. I try to help these kids be better people and better for life when they move out of school. And a lot of things we do is life lessons. And on and off the court. So we do a lot of things off the court as opposed to on the court that makes us better people and better volleyball players.
We'd like to thank the athletes, teams, and coaches in Section 5. Now remember, if you have a story you'd like to share with us, let us know. Send an email to rocksportsnow@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you back here next week for more of the High School Sports Beat.